Alrighty guys, how you going? So today we're talking about a great free tool out there, Garage61. Now this tool is going to help you find bucket loads of time on track. So I'm going to try and be brief today, but I want to show you the crux of this application. Alright, so let's dive into it. So we have created an account on Garage61, we've downloaded the app, installed it. This is the window you're presented with. So basically, not too many options here. This runs in the background. It records all your data from iRacing, sends it on the fly, and then you can jump in afterwards and have a look where you can find time. So this application here, there's only two settings, settings and launch Garage61. In settings, there is the option to limit your bandwidth while you're racing, while you're not racing. I'm on a good connection here, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, and then the other option here is launch Garage61. So I'm just going to get rid of this window and we're going to jump into the website here. So this is where you'll be presented after clicking that button. And just for the sake of this tutorial here, I have recorded some laps around Road America, a course that I know fairly well, in the iRacing, a car that I haven't driven in a long time, probably the best part of a year. So we're going to jump in here. As you can see, I've done 3 laps. I did this yesterday, so we are going to have a look. So we've clicked into it here. Now, as you can see, this page just shows you all the server details, all the session details. You can see my best lap was a 2 minutes 12.3 optimal. I was 3/10 off it. And my fastest lap here, I did mostly purple sectors, with sector 2 being a bit slower, where that 3/10 was. Okay, so once that one's highlighted, I'm going to click analyze. So we're going to analyze our fastest lap. It's going to bring you to this screen. And in this screen, I'm just going to break down. This is going to be where you're going to do the majority of your analysis and see where you can find your time. Okay, so on the left-hand side here, we have the track map. Now, as you can see, there's a dot that appears when you hover your mouse around the track. And that is representative where your car is on track. Okay, so as you can see on the left-hand side, as I'm moving my mouse, it's also appearing in the graphs. Fantastic. Okay, and the other thing to show you here, the track map has bounds, so you can see my line and how much of the track I'm taking. Amazing. That's not available in any other software that I know of, so that's a fantastic addition. Okay, so on the right hand side here, we can see some graphs. We have the speed, throttle, brake, gear, and steering angle broken down into a nice visible format that we can use to compare. Okay. About that comparison, so we can see on the left hand side here, we have in red a 212.3. That's me. Okay, we're going to hit compare laps, add a comparison lap. So now the one thing to note, I was in a 46-degree session, so we want to find a lap that's representative. We're not going to click on this 206 because that's in a 21-degree track. It's not representative. Although he is a very high I rating, that'd be interesting to see what he does. But for the sake of today's video, I'm going to find a lap a little bit further down that might be representative of what we're trying to do here. Okay, so I've found Leston Anthony Schiapoloni. Oh, I've massacred that. Apologies, Leston. He is a 5,000 I rating and he has done his lap in a 47-degree track. Okay, so that one's probably going to be representative. Now, if we hover over his name, we can see that he has an A license and he is a 4.05 and is currently above 5k I rating. Well done, Leston. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to highlight that one and we are going to hit apply. That's going to add a lap to compare. Then we're going to hit analyze selection. Okay, now that has brought up Leston's lap in blue, as you can see. Blue beside his name. If we hover in here, we can see there are 2 lines. Perfect. Okay, now we have a new graph down the bottom. What's this? This is the time delta. This is the difference between his lap and mine over the course of the lap. Now, if this was straight, big drop and straight again, awesome. I've only got a little bit of time to find in the section with the big drop. But as we can see, Leston just looks like a better driver than me. He's found his time over the course of the whole track, the whole lap. So what we're going to do here is we're going to highlight corner 1. So as you can see, the dot as I'm moving, that's going to highlight when I click and drag. You see that highlighting there? Beautiful. So we want to highlight entrance and exit of turn 1. And you can see here that Leston has found the 10th in turn 1. Beautiful. That's what we're chasing. All right, where's he found that time? As we can see, there's about a 2 km/h speed difference at the end of the straight. That means that he's at a better exit out of the final corner. Okay, now let's break down where he's found that time, that 10th of a second. That's got to be somewhere. So he has got off the accelerator 7 meters later than me. Okay, all right. And my brake also lines up, so I'm braking too early. I'm getting off the accelerator, I'm braking too early. As you can see in the blue here, what Leston's done, he has grabbed his peak percentage at around 80%, and then he's started trailing off straight away. And where's he finished trail braking? Interesting. Well before the corner, okay? Well before the apex. So you can see that Leston's turned in much harder than me here. So he's started out and he's turned in much later, much harder. He's missed the apex by a little bit, but we'll forgive him there. He's a better driver than me. And yeah, he's got on their power much earlier. Like pretty much when he's off the brakes, he's getting on the power. Okay, so if we have a look what I've done in comparison, got on the brakes, I've held about 70%, somewhere in that vicinity for a while, and then I've started trailing off and going, oh, I don't know if I'm going to make this corner. I better hold a bit more brakes, put some weight on that nose to keep the car turning in. Okay, so around about the apex, I've got off the brakes and I've started to get on the power, as you can see in this graph, and pretty smooth ramp for the power there. Okay, so I had a lot of time in hand. I had a lot of grip. As we can see with Leston's graph here, he's on the limit. Okay, so this lift here, this would represent he has entered the corner a little bit too quick potentially, or he's at a moment that he's trying to catch. So a little bit of oversteer, you know, that's not a big thing. Like these cars are, you're trying to dance on the edge of the knife here, you're trying to wrangle it as good as you can. But if we have a look at the speed difference, there is 6-7 kilometers an hour in entry, and if he had have not had that moment, he would have carried that speed all the way through to the next turn and probably found 2/10 between entry and the entrance of the next corner. So that's a big amount there. Now what we're going to do, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to highlight a bigger section here so we can see this steering angle graph. Now there's a big one here that I noticed. When I'm at the apex here, Leston is on his peak turning at 63 degrees. That's a massive turn in angle, and I'm at 26. I'm letting the car do most of the work. I'm turning in too early, and I'm compromising my exit because I don't have as straight a line as Leston here. Okay, so big takeaways. We're going to break this down. So what's happening? I'm braking too early. I'm getting off the gas too early. I'm getting on the gas at the apex, whereas I should be accelerating before the apex, and I'm not turning in hard enough. If we zoom in real close here, that all correlates. Leston's turning in a little bit later, a little bit harder. He's missed the apex as mentioned, but it's still a much quicker line than me. Okay, so anyway, that's a crux of what we're trying to learn here. At the moment, we've broken down one corner. We're going to go into the sim. We're going to try and find that time. If we've got some mental capacity, some physical, something left in the tank, you know, we're going to come back in here and we're going to try and find some more time. Okay, so rinse and repeat. Now we can go in and compare to other laps. You know, the possibilities are endless here. You know, there's heaps of time to be found if you want to have a look at the stats. It's really not that hard. If you break it down, just have a think about it. I'm sure you'll be able to find bucket loads of time. Okay, now what we're going to do here, the last part of the video, I'm just going to compare the competition, right? So this is a free application, don't forget that. The other free one to note, Motec. Motec is a much more complicated program to use. You need to convert your own data, hopefully find someone else who can provide data, and you might be able to compare your laps versus a quicker lap, or, you know, try and break down where you can find time there. But there is so much information to sift through. It's very engineering, I'll use that term, and it's just not as straightforward, and it's not as obvious where the time is to be found. Okay, now the other big one here that I've used since the day dot of me joining iRacing, VRS. I'm definitely not trying to discredit VRS here. They offer a similar service, but they do add a little bit more. So it does cost money, $14 a month. That's a lot of money to me. That's in Australia. That's, you know, that's that's a lot of nappies for my boy. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to just show you turn 1 to 2. So this is multiple corners, but they're aliens that have recorded the lap for them. They've paid those people to do this, and that's the big difference. They record these videos, they talk to you, they explain what they're doing on entrance, how they're getting the rotation, and where the time is found in the exit. Okay, so that's the big difference here. And yeah, basically they show you very similar stuff, but as I mentioned, the track map doesn't show you the bounds. So you know, the free Garage61 has a leg up over VRS in that department. Okay, so very similar, but you know, you have to scrub through with a bar to show the position. Just it's not as easy, you know. If I want to highlight something, I can just click drag. Very straightforward in Garage61. Okay, but the beauty about this, you have the onboards, you have the third persons, you can see how the car is reacting to what they're doing, and a live recording of what these aliens have done. So all credit to VRS, fantastic product, just too expensive to me. I'm probably not going to be using it. Okay, now lastly, massive shout out to Garage61 and the developers. Thank you so much for giving this tool to everyone, free to use. At the moment, I can understand there may be a paywall behind some features later down the track. This is an amazing program. You guys have very much deserved to earn money from this. I just hope that the crux of the application will be free. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Hope you found some help in this information that I've given you, and you can find bucket loads of time on track, which I know you all will. If you could hit the like button, that'd be fantastic. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'll definitely be back with more content quite soon. I'm going to be reviewing this Cube Control CX-X3 that I've been using. Fantastic wheel, but I've got a few things to say about it that other people aren't, so that might be interesting. I do love the wheel though. Alright guys, well until next time, thank you very much.